Shalom, Israel, giving all praises due to the Most High God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through his anointed, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. I'm coming at you with a volume 3 on flat earth and science according to the Bible. And I'm going to title this one, part of the series, What Are the Planets? Alright, so in this lesson, I'm going to be giving an understanding because in 2 Kings chapter 23 verses 4 to 5, a lot of Israelites read when it says planets and they have the misconception of what Esau, the so-called white man, through the Greeks and the Babylonians, which is the other Hamitic nations, all these occultic beliefs of heliocentric, they think that's talking about as in regards to Venus and Mars and what NASA shows us on the day-to-day basis, you know, the planets, the solar system, so to speak, you know. And according to the Bible, there's no such thing as a solar system. Even in real life, which the Bible is the book of life, there's no proof, there's no evidence of these other planets. When we hear about planets, we only get this information from world governments. We only get it from NASA, we only get it from top elite, and we only get it from top officials and all this type of stuff. But nobody is telling, nobody on a regular day-to-day has got up in the morning and looked up and saw a planet other than the moon or the sun in the heavens and seen Venus in the distance, okay? Or seen Jupiter, because if we're all rotating, eventually we should all see it one day, you know? But they said that, oh yeah, we could see Venus, which that's not true. And we're going to get into what they call planets as actually stars, okay? And matter of fact, before I even get into the lesson, let's get a quick history lesson. Let's get a quick rundown because I don't want to make it too long, all right? So this one I'm going to go on the planets. In volume 4, I'm going to cover the spiritual world as far as in John chapter 14, verses 2 to 3. Because you got a lot of so-called Israelite camps and elders and a lot of even Gentiles now who've heard other Israelites, they listen to Israelites. They're starting to copy Israelites and starting to say that these many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you in John chapter 14. In John chapter 14 is referring to planets, which doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, why would Christ have to go and make planets if everything is already created from the beginning? But I'm gonna cut that and on volume 4, okay? And I got the scriptures ready for that. But on volume 3, I'm just gonna cover up what are the planets, okay? Because maybe did Israelites believe in planets? No. There's no scripture in this Bible where an Israelite is referring to another realm for man to dwell on in the heavens other than the earth, planet Earth. No prophet has never mentioned another place that we will be able to go. We will leave the earth and we could go there and chill there for a while, like certain Israelite camps are saying we're going to take Edomite slaves and take them to other planets and that's a bunch of white man nonsense, man. And the shame is that the Israelites that claim to be saying that they talk big as if they know everything, you know? And then when you cut them and you smash them that the earth is flat, like I did in volume 1, that the earth is motionless, that the sun and the moon rotates above us, when you show them it, then they say things like it doesn't matter. Okay, how could that not matter? And that's written in Genesis, the 1st chapter. Okay, and for y'all that didn't see volume 2, yes, in volume 2, I cut the whole thing with this misconception that Isaiah chapter 40 verse 22, this circle is talking about a planet, a sphere. A sphere and a circle are different. Circle has ends, a sphere doesn't. A sphere has 2 sides, okay, up and a down. But a circle has 4 corners, okay, like what the Lord said in the 4 corners of earth, the circle of the earth. So when it says that he sits upon the circle, it means the base of a dome, because a dome will be like like a half a sphere, right? That's where we get hemisphere from. Hemi means half of a sphere is a dome, and the base of it will be a flat circle, and that's like what I covered in volume 2. So volume 3, we're gonna get the understanding of what the planets are, all right? But before I even go into that, I just wanted y'all to know that the main reason why this whole thing that we even think that there's a globe is based upon a satanic agenda, man. And a lot of y'all need to get hip to this. All right, because a lot of y'all trying to, like, you know, brush your shoulder and act like you don't, okay, it's not a big deal to talk about. But if somebody's lying to you about the layout of the earth, and they're hiding with this Bible that we claim to uphold, and they're hiding the evidence that this Bible is true, and that the Big Bang it doesn't make any sense, and that evolution is stupid and Darwinism. Okay, if they're hiding that from us, shouldn't we be the children of Israel, the God's chosen people? Shouldn't we be bringing out the truth that this man is a lie? You know, and the main reason why we even have it is because you're Illuminati, your top banking elites. Starting with Adam Weisenhower, when he started there, he funded the Illuminati. He said he wanted the society to be based upon the teachings of Pythagoras. Okay, like I told you in Volume 1 and Volume 2, and you guys should do some research on it. Don't take my word for it. Pythagoras was the main one who started this whole thing about the earth as a ball. And then, you know, later on it trickled down to spin with Copernicus and other guys. Okay, but Adam Weisenhower said that society should be based upon the teachings of Pythagoras. So society is what? Your court system, your educational system, your school system. Okay, so that's how come we're being, the heliocentric is going back. Is all everywhere. It goes back to ancient, pagan, heathen, occultic customs, man. And they're trying to bring it on our everyday society. It promotes humanism. Okay, because people who don't believe in God and who are not spiritual and they're not alert and they're not wise to anything, they're easy to control. You know, and who else do they tell us in school? Isaac Newton, who also considered himself a follower of Pythagoras. Okay, they teach us about Copernicus, guys like Kepler, who all justify that the earth is round and it spins. These guys were all Masons. If you even look at all their pictures, they always got the same Mason measure, okay, and the scale and all that, man. Because it's there, man. Basically, the information is there, man. You know, and that's how come, if you know, like for instance, in school we're taught like the Pythagorean theorem. Well, if you know the history, Pythagoras learned that from the ancient Indians and Babylonians. Okay, what else we were taught in school? The word of numbers. That same thing with the Illuminati, 77 and 666 and all these different numbers and calculations for understanding of life. Or the so-called understanding of life, and they use numbers to say that they could predict the future with numbers, which was a bunch of nonsense. They call that geometry in school. Okay, algebra. Okay, all that goes back to the Egyptians. Okay, the Freemasons.
You can imagine how excited Pythagoras was when he shared his findings with his pals, a fraternity of eggheads known as the Pythagoreans. They used to meet in secret to discuss their mathematical discoveries. Only members were allowed to attend. They had a secret emblem, the pentagram. Let's see what the topic is for today. Let's begin with a game that's played on squares.
Checkers?
No, chess.
Chess?
Perfect. Put a triangle inside and turn it. Now spin the circle. And what have you got?
A bird.
Yes, a sphere. The shape of things is first discovered in the...
Yeah. Well, I'll be a frustrated kid.
They have secrecy, and you see a celebrity storing up symbols. He learned Pythagoras. He went to Chaldea and Egypt. He learned what's it called? The worship of the sun. That's how come they say Sunday. All this whole society, when you understand it, is all going back to ancient occultic practices, man. And that's why the Lord in the book of Revelations, the 17th chapter, in the fifth verse, he said that America's mystery Babylon the Great. And you realize it said mystery, so it's not going to say the United States of America in the Holy Bible. Okay? It said it's a mystery, meaning that America, that Babylon, which is America in the last days, is not going to be known by calling itself Babylon. but it will be known by what? By abominations of the earth. That's how come when you read in Isaiah the 47th chapter, it speaks about what? The virgin daughter of Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, which would be America. You have ancient Babylon, and then you have the daughter of Babylon, because America follows after all these ancient Greek, okay, heliocentric Egyptian nonsense, man, which our forefathers, the Israelites, didn't believe in none of that crap. Okay, that's how come when you get to the book of Acts, was it the 14th chapter? They're the people, and when he got into Greece, our forefather and apostle Paul, when he got amongst the Greeks, which were also the same area where Pythagoras at, they're calling him what? Jupiter and Mercury and Saturn and all that. And that's why, in what's it called, in Acts the 17th chapter, Paul, when he stood up on what? Mars' hill, because that's where we get all these names, Mars, Pluto, going back to the Greeks. He said, you men of Athens, and which is Greece, he said, you guys are superstitious, man. Even Paul would have been like, what are you talking about, planets? Our Israelites automatically knew that earth was always created for man. Our forefathers, the holy prophets, knew that this earth was a realm, not a planet. Okay? And we're going to get into that. That the earth, we're going to understand that earth is really a realm and it's not a planet. And that this realm is flat and it has a ceiling over it like a vault architecture. Okay? And the stars sit within are in the firmament of the Most High, which is up there in the heavens, and they rotate above us. And they've been rotating above us for the past thousands of some odd years. The same constellation, which proves that we're not moving through space. Okay? So let's get the understanding according to the Bible of what the Most High created. Did the Most High create other planets, or was it just the earth? Okay? That's what we're going to understand. And then when we come across the planet, what is this talking about? Alright, so that's what this lesson is really about. Volume 4, like I said, is going to be John chapter 14, verses 2 to 3. Understanding the many mansions, and that where Christ said that he went to go prepare a place for us. Proving that I'm going to show that it's in the spiritual world, which is above the firmament, according to Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, verses 26 to 28, okay, that the Most High's throne is above the firmament, that's where Yahweh Shai is sitting on the right hand, and up there in the spiritual world is a quarter for God's elect. So I hope you guys, you guys be patient enough for that, but we're going to deal with this topic at hand, because if I was to put it all in one lesson, it's going to be overwhelming and too long, and I already know you so-called blacks and Hispanics, I already know my people. Israel got a short attention span. You guys are not going to watch the whole video. So let's deal with the earth. Is there anything outside of the earth, okay, that the Most High is going to have us living in? Okay, let's get the understanding. Let's start with Jeremiah chapter 27, verse 5. I, which is Yahweh, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the ground, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and have given it unto whom it seemed meet unto me. So the Most High said he created the earth, and the man and the beast he put upon the ground, which is on the earth. He didn't say anything about he created the earth and other planets. He didn't say that he created the solar system. He didn't say that I was going to create the earth, but then later on, when the Messiah comes, I'm going to continue on making things within the heavens. Where do you guys get this nonsense that believe this? And then you guys swear that you guys got 100% truth. That's why some of y'all got to really calm down and humble yourself. Because a lot of y'all, when y'all really step outside your camp, you will really find out that you was being taught a bunch of nonsense. Okay? And then you're going to feel foolish. Alright, let's get Isaiah chapter 45, verse 12. This is Isaiah chapter 45 and 12. Let's find out if the Most High made anything other than the earth for man to live on. He said, I have made the earth and created man upon it. Even my hands have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded. So the Most High say he made an earth and he put man upon it. He didn't say that he created the solar system. He didn't say that he created the earth, then Jupiter, then Pluto, and all that. That goes back to the heathen. That's what the Most High said in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. And if you guys really know the history, The heathen was the main ones. It was really the Babylonians that started this whole astrology and the planet belief. Okay, going back to the Venus tablet of Amazduqa, which was around the 7th century on the first Babylonian kingdom. You should look that up. And it was a study of the rotation of the star Venus, but they thought it was a planet. Okay, and that's how come when you look up the teachings of Pythagoras, it said that he dwelt very good on Venus. That's why they say girls are from Venus, men are from Mars. Because Venus was seen as this bright, god in the sky or something, with the Greeks. And when the Babylonians used to observe it, they didn't realize, you realize they could observe it all year round. So proving that this was something in the sky, the constellation, not no solar system, in order for the Babylonians to have observed the star. And then even still to this day, they found out that these so-called planets, when they zoom in, when these Edomites and even some Jakes are buying Nikon P600s, and they're zooming in on the stars, and they're actually seeing that these stars, what they're calling planets, are really just lights. Yeah, stars. What they call it, but they're zooming in on Venus. When you actually look up Venus, Venus is actually a big bright star in the Most High's constellation. That's what's up there. Stars. There's not planets. They're lights. Some of them move, and then some of them just look like little circular like orbs within the heaven. But that's all lights up there. There's no planet. There's no place where you can hop on a spaceship and fly up in the sky and go there and travel and hang up there and then look down on Earth and then come back and visit Earth. No, it's the heavens. And you realize the Most High said, I have created the earth and created man upon it. Even my hands, have stretched out the heavens. So proving that the heavens go over us, that's the limit. Okay, that's when you read in Isaiah, like what I did in this volume 2, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22, he said he stretched out the heavens like a tent. Okay, so the heavens is over us like a ceiling, like vault architecture, like what it says in 2nd Ezra, where we're going to get to. That's all that's up there. Okay, let's get on. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 45, verse 12 said, I made the earth and created man upon it. That's it. He didn't say he created anything else. Let's get Genesis chapter 1. This is Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And Elohim, and God, which is the angels, said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let there be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So there's nothing else up there. It's just the firmament and lights within the firmament. Then he said, let there be lights in the firmament that it might divide the day from the night. What are some of the lights up there? Some of the constellations. We got the sun. We got the moon. They let us know the day from the night. Let them be for signs. Certain stars, when they move, they give us certain signs. It says, and for seasons, that's the constellations, which we call Orion. Like what we read in the book of Amos, was the 5th chapter, in the book of Job. They even knew about Orion. Okay? And our forefathers used to tell the year by the certain constellations that would be positioned in the sky. He said, let them be for signs and for seasons, which is the constellations, and for days, which would be like the sun, because we know when the day starts and when the day ends, when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down, and for years, because we can tell the months and all that by the moon. When there's a new moon, according to the Bible, like what it said in 1 Samuel's, the 20th chapter, even King David was saying he's watching the new moon. He said that tomorrow's a new moon. And then they're letting you know that it was the first day of the month, because the new moon, okay, is the first day of the month. So the Most High put the moon, the stars, the constellations and all that for us to know the time, because he didn't give Adam and Eve and the sons of Noah a calendar. Okay, they used to go by the heavens. They even show you that, like in that Disney movie Moana, when that guy he's looking at the heavens to study out direction. You got Polaris, which is the North Star, which tells you north, okay, which would lead you to the center of the earth, okay, because yes, the North Pole is the center of the earth, because the earth is flat, Okay, that's how come we only see auroras around the North Pole and Alaska, that greenish thing in the sky, because that's the electromagnetic, the magnetic field from the dome, from the center. Okay, so the earth is, the Most High put all these things up here for us to tell the times. The only problem is that when we as Israelites, when we look at these things and like the heathen, we begin to say that, oh, that's something more. We worship it and say that this star is a god, this star is that star is that. Oh, this is a realm, and that leads to Pluto and all that. That's a bunch of nonsense. Our forefathers knew it was just the earth, and that was it. Okay, let's read this again. Genesis chapter 1 verse 13. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and let them be for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. So the heavens, and it proves that there's nothing else because it's above us. Okay, and it says that it might give light upon the earth. So us as man, when we look up, we can tell what's going on. We can tell the year, the month, and all that by studying the heavens that the Most High put up there. Okay, the only problem is that when we started to look at the sun and started to worship the sun and started to name the sun, okay, like Esau and the other nations do. That's what Paul said in the book of Acts. You guys are superstitious. Okay, so what are planets? Okay, let's get 2 Kings chapter 23. What are planets then? This is 2 Kings chapter 23, and I'm going to start from all this is good, but I'm going to start from verses 4 to 5. This is speaking about a certain king of Judah. When he got into power, he removes all the idols of Baal and the other nations that the Israelites were worshiping in the temple of the Most High, and even said that they even worshiped the planets. So the scriptures mention planets here, so let's get the understanding. Maybe our forefathers was talking about Pluto and Mars, okay, or maybe not. Okay, let's get Let's get 2 Kings chapter 23 verses 4 to 5. And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal. So Israelites was corrupting the house of the Most High in Jerusalem. Okay, and it was bringing all these other nations' nasty customs and all that within the temple. So when this king got into power, he commanded Hilkiah and the other high priests to move all that stuff, remove the prophets, the prophets of Baal, kill them, okay, destroy the altars, take all that out. So Israel, us as a people, we don't sin and break the law, statutes, and commandments to where curses come upon us. Okay? I'm going to read that again. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priests of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for the hosts of heaven. So the hosts of heaven are like the sun and the moon. It says, and he burned them without Jerusalem. Yeah, the consolations and all that. And you realize I say he burned them without Jerusalem. So this man was so zealous, and he knew that our land was so serious and holy, that he didn't even want the idols destroyed within the temple of the Lord. He didn't even want the ashes to fall out. He was like, man, remove them out and destroy them. He don't even want the dust of that to sit in the temple of the Lord. Verse 5, and he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the city of Judah, and the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burnt incense unto Baal, to the sun, which is one of the hosts of heaven, to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the hosts of heaven. Now what one might say, there it goes, it says planets. Now when you look up planets in the Hebrew, because you have to understand, the Old Testament, our forefathers didn't speak English. They spoke Hebrew. So we have to go into Hebrew and understand that. And the Hebrew under the concordance is H4208. Okay, I'm going to read it again. H4208. And the word there is mazalah. Okay, mazalah. Which means what? Constellations. So what are constellations? It's just a body of stars. That's all the planet is according to the Holy Bible. A body of stars. So our forefathers used to worship Orion and all that. And they used to make little certain maps and put them up in the air, or make little sculptures for and give a design and call them after certain constellations and worship these idols, or worship these images that might look like what they would think was a star, or what they might have thought was like a demon, or whatever the case may be. Whatever certain type of demonic spirit that they saw, they used to put the facial thing, and they used to bring it into the house of the Lord and corrupt it. So that's what the planets are. It's talking about the constellations. Because anybody, and matter of fact, let's prove that constellations is talking about stars. Okay, let's put the nail in the hammer here, and then we're gonna go into what is outside the firmament, because they're gonna say, okay, if it's just the firmament. Okay, what is outside of the firmament? Okay, we're going to answer that too. I'm going to answer that for you too. But let's get Isaiah chapter 13. Let's find out what a constellation is according to the Holy Bible. Isaiah chapter 13, and I'm going to start from 9. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, both cruel with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And that's what's happening right now as we speak. If you turn on the news, America's at a trade war right now with China as we speak. America's at an economic cold military war, an arms race with Moscow. Okay, Syria's ablaze. Iran is ready to attack. Israel's ready to attack Iran. America just signed a bill for $1 billion of military escort and tanks to be put into Saudi Arabia. That's for the upcoming Iran war. Okay, when it says to lay the land desolate, it's going to be those nuclear missiles. Because there's going to be nuclear missiles, yes. You so-called Christians will be like, I rebuke that. No, it's going to happen. Okay, the so-called nuclear missiles, which are known as the flying roll in the book of Zechariah, they're going to come and destroy the United States of America and the rest of you Gentile nations. When I say Gentile, I mean anybody outside of the nation of Israel. You so-called white people, you Chinese, you Africans, you Arabs. Okay, all y'all are going into slavery, man. Because you guys got control of the earth right now, and you still not upholding the laws of God. You guys got control of the earth, even got books on who the children of Israel, and you're still not admitting that that the so-called blacks and Hispanics and the rest of us that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, the children of Israel. Are the children scattered throughout the four corners of the earth are the children of Israel. So you Gentiles are going to pay for that. And the wicked of our people, okay, you so-called blacks, West Indians, and Dominicans and whatnot, you want to eat pork and celebrate Christmas and just continue your sinful life, 2/3 of y'all, the Most High is just going to kill you. Simple as that. That's why it says, and he will destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay, so the Most High is coming to this earth with the angels and Yahweh Shai to bring the wrath onto the Gentiles and destroy the sinners of the Gentiles and 2/3 of his people. Verse 10, for the stars of heaven and the what? Constellations thereof shall not give their light. So the constellations are stars. It says the sun shall be darkened in his going forth. Oh no. In his going forth, proving that it's the sun that rotates, not the earth. And it's not the earth that's moving 1,000 miles per hour around the sun. It's the sun rotating, because it says from his going forth. So it's the sun that moves. That's how come when you read, First Ezra, the 4th chapter, it speaks about how the sun compasses the whole heaven. It's like a man who runs on a race, okay? And it takes about a day, which in solar time is 24 hours. Okay, so it's the sun that's rotating according to the Bible, even according to true science. Okay, it says, because the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. It says the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Proving that's another cut to so-called science and Esau, because they said that the moonlight comes from the reflection of the sun. It said, even the Bible say that the light gives out its own, the moon gives her own light, which doesn't even make sense because the sun is already orangey red color. So the reflection should be the same color. How come the moon is not the same color of the sun then? If it's just reflecting the light, it should be the same color of what is being reflected upon. But anyway, so we got the understanding of what the planets are. The planets are the constellations or the stars of the Most High that are within the firmament of the Most High. Now, what's outside the firmament? Okay, that's the next question. What is outside the firmament? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Let's get Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim, or God, created the heaven and the earth. So this is showing you in the very beginning. Verse 2. And the earth was without form and void. Void and without form, meaning that it was no land, it was nothing. It was just blank. It says, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So like how the ocean is, and you jump in the deep of the ocean, it was like all ocean, just water. Pitch black, like how you look in the nighttime, you look up in the heavens, and up there's like black, almost like that blue is so dark, it's like black, it's basically black. Okay? That's all it was just darkness and water. And it said, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Now let's jump down to verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and it divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters that were above the firmament, and it was so. So the Most High, when He created the earth, He put the earth within the middle of water. We're like in a little ecosystem, in a little underground world, like how you watch SpongeBob and Sandy is underneath the water, and she's got that big dome. That's exactly how the planet Earth is. I mean, not the planet, my bad. I even said the planet. Okay, that's how the round Earth is, because Earth is really a round. Okay, it's not a planet. That's stupid. That's that pagan nonsense, that planet stuff. Okay, so the earth is in water because He divided the waters from above it so we could live inside, underneath the firmament. So outside, all around us is just water. Okay, I know that might not be good enough for you. So let's get some scriptures. Let's get Psalms. Let's get Psalms 148. This is Psalms chapter 148. And 2, it says, praise ye Him, all His angels, praise ye Him, all His hosts. So the Most High's angels is what we're reading about in the book of Genesis, the first chapter. That's how come when you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, when God created man upon earth, it said, God said, let us, because it's the angels talking. So, when it says, praise ye Him, all ye angels, it's the same God that we're reading about in Genesis 1 and 26. It was the angels in Christ. Okay, which cuts you so-called men that saying that Christ went to go make planets. Because if Christ and the angels already made the planets, and it said that on the 7th day everything was completed in the beginning, right? Why would He need to go continue on? So that means you're saying that the work of the Most High's creation was not fully complete. You're adding to the word of the Most High. Think about what you teach. Think before you start blabbing out your mouth. Because it's not even tying up with the Holy Bible. Psalms 148, I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 3, praise ye Him, sun and moon. Praise Him, all ye stars of light. All ye stars of light. Praise Him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that are above the heavens. What is the heavens? In Genesis chapter 1, verse 8. Okay, the heavens is the firmament. So above the firmament is nothing but water. That's how come when you read 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, was it 5 and verses 5 to 6, it speaks about the earth standing within the waters, but without the waters, but yet in the waters. Because the earth is sitting in the middle of water. Okay, let's get on. I'm going to get another scripture. And basically that'll be it for this lesson. And then I'll come back with volume 4, proving that what's going, what the many mansions are, and what's up, what's in the spiritual world. Because above the waters is something else, and we're going to get the understanding of that in volume 4. All right, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and I'm going to start from verse 55. It says, which speak but the word. It says, let the earth be made, and it was made. Let the heaven be made, and it was created. So this is Ezra and the angel. This is the, if you read this whole thing, Ezra is talking with an angel. He's getting revelations, and now he's getting revelations about the end of the world. But he's also giving the Most High credit to how he created the earth. Okay, and it's showing you how the Most High set up and laid out the earth. Verse 56. In his word, and it says, in his word were the stars made, and he knoweth the numbers of them. He searcheth the deep and the treasures thereof. He has measured the sea and what it containeth. So the Most High made the sea and everything. He has shut up the sea in the midst of waters. What? He has shut the sea in the midst of the waters. And with his word, he has hanged the earth upon waters. You see that? So the earth is sitting on waters, and above it is water. Around it is water. Okay? Verse 59. He spreaded out the heavens. Did we not read that in Isaiah 45 and like 12? He stretched out the heaven. It said he spread out the heavens like a vault. This one gets more in detail, proving that it's a dome. Because vault architecture is the same ceiling of a dome. So when it said that he spread out the heavens like a vault, meaning he spread out the heavens like a dome. It says, and upon the waters has he founded it. So the earth is sitting in the middle of water. It's upon water, it's in the side of water, it's beneath water. Okay, that's where the earth is. That's what we're sitting on. There's no such thing as outer space where you hop in a rocket ship and you go outside the magnetosphere, and then you go into the galaxy and there's a black hole, and then you can take a spaceship and take a road here and it's just endless. It could be aliens. That is all dogma, man. And it's all to discredit the Bible, to say that the Bible is not real, that we come from a chimpanzee. Make you spit on the Bible, make you not even take the Bible serious. Don't let them fool you. So for the brothers out there that actually watch this video, and a few of you sisters, peace and blessings unto you. I'll come back with you with volume 4, and then after volume 4, that's it. I'm done with the flat earth. Y'all should already get to understand it. There's many other scriptures out there. You guys should do more research on Pythagoras, the heliocentric customs. Don't just take my word for it. I also got an Instagram, Priest Raw Moth. Okay, so if you guys got any questions, I also got things on there pertaining to this topic. I'm breaking down the science of the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, because that's another question that a lot of our people ask. If the earth is flat, how does this work? How does that work? I answer them on my Instagram page. Alright, so with that, this is your brother Ra Moth coming at you with another volume, giving all praises due to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his anointed Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.